Fill in the blank, Jason. Atlanta survived Joseph Martinez's led comeback in the MLS wildcard last night. The chances of Atlanta winning on Friday are...
On Friday, particularly on Friday, 0-0, nada, zip, sacro. It's not going to happen on Friday. I don't know that Atlanta doesn't have a shot in the series against Miami, but they're not going to win that game. Watching that game, though, Atlanta was the better team, like by a significant margin, the way that they were able to build the goals that they scored. What a day Brooks Lennon had. He was all over the place. He had a great goal, but also was involved in the penalty that ultimately led to Montreal being able to draw level and push it to penalty kicks. Remember, no extra time in the MLS Cup wildcard game, only straight to penalty kicks. The drama of that game, if you were watching last night, was Joseph Martinez against Atlanta, of course. I mean, it was easy. There was the penalty kick in regulation that Martinez converted against Brad Guzan to draw the game level. And by the way, Guzan had made an error to give Joseph Martinez the first goal. He dropped the ball. It was a bad mistake by Guzan. So there was clearly, Guzan was feeling the need to make up for what he had done earlier. He can't make the save. There's some sort of shouting match. They're telling each other F off. Like this is an episode of Succession, I think. I don't know what was going on exactly. I mean, clearly these guys know each other in a pretty significant way, having played with each other for so long.
Many years.
Martinez goes back to the center circle, drops the ball, and is still yelling at Guzan. Then we get to the penalty kick shootout. And I'm not a TV producer. I've never done that work, or a director. I imagine it's difficult, making sure the right shot gets on air. But if you've got that guy who is just yelling at his ex-teammate about a penalty kick, and he takes the first penalty kick for Montreal, and he starts walking towards the goal or towards Guzan, don't cut away from that. That's what I want to see. I want to see what's going to happen between these two guys. Instead, we get a replay of the penalty right away. Terrible stuff. Terrible stuff. Play up the drama, Major League Soccer. Like, give us what we want to see. Now, I know after the fact they were hugging, so they made up at some point as Atlanta moves on.
Having spent a little bit of time in broadcast trucks, the director was probably feeling it after that. He probably knew. He probably knew that he messed the emoting. You think so? I mean,
okay.
If you're getting into the chair, you know what you're looking for, the human reactions. He probably just was on a rhythm of like, all right, let's take that replay. And then probably as soon
I know there's like an SOP in that situation. There's an SOP for what you're supposed to do. Like the penalty kick, it's a penalty kick. It's not it's drama, but it's not the most action heavy thing. So you want to bring action back in. You don't want to show a bunch of guys wandering around. That's not exciting. So I get that. But in this particular moment, as you said, it should have been like, wait, pause, hold on. What is Joseph doing? Keep it on him to see how he and Guzan react. And obviously, Guzan did end up being the hero on the day because he's the only one to make a save in the penalty kick shootout. Sirois could not do it, and Atlanta they're perfect, although I don't think every penalty was perfect. They managed to put the ball in the net. That's all that matters.
That Brad Guzan performance kind of summed up how I think of him as a professional goalkeeper. He is just as likely to make the mistake to put them in a hole as he is likely to make the save to win the day. And so he's just one of those plus minus players. And that brings up the question. He's been there for a while now. Is Brad Guzan going to play forever?
No, has he not announced? I was thinking about that last night. Has he not announced that he intends to hang him up soon? Maybe he hasn't. Maybe I know Dax McCarty is playing his final games as an MLS player. He was on the field, and he made a penalty kick last night, which was he was cool. He was calm. He was as smooth at the other side of the spoon, or the back side of a spoon, or whatever. So I know he's leaving. I thought maybe we had heard about Guzan, but I guess not. I guess he hasn't announced anything. Maybe he'll play until his hair comes back. That's how it has to. He's going to wait until.
I like that. That really puts some longevity on your career if that's your goal. And a good comment under the video. Mike Thomas says Guzan plans to play until he's 70.
He'll play until he's 70. Yeah,
he must have inside sources with Atlanta.
Yes, I mean, I guess if you don't have a better option, and think about Garth Lagerwey and the goalkeepers that he's had as a general manager. Nick Raimondo, Stefan Fry, Brad Guzan. That's it. That's the list. He doesn't need anybody. He's never needed to look for a new goalkeeper because he always had a goalkeeper in place when he took over who was established as one of the best in the league, or at least trustworthy. Yeah.
All right. Just a final note on this. Can Atlanta make any noise versus Messi?
No, Inter Miami win that. I don't know about handily, but I think Inter Miami is significantly better than Atlanta. And barring injury or disaster, things I can't predict because I don't have that ability, Inter Miami should coast. And in fact, they'll probably do it in 2 games.
That said, I am glad that Dax McCarty's getting a run into the playoffs at the end. He's always been a really nice MLS player who doesn't always hasn't had a ton of playoff runs as of late, has he?
Has never won an MLS Cup title. I believe he's got a supporter shield on his resume from his time in New York or New Jersey, but I don't think he's ever won an MLS Cup. And that's a little bit of a tragedy that a guy who's been that good for that long is likely not going to go out with a championship.